Hey there everybody, Shepherd Chang here, brings you another episode of Abyssalcraft is Kind of Awesome. And today we are going to be looking at the tools, armor, and weapons added to by Abyssalcraft from the Abyssal Wasteland. I really messed saying that all up. The tools and stuff you can get because of the Abyssal Wasteland is what I'm saying. So let's get into it. So remember, those refined corallium ingots and how you in the overworld you had abyssal knight tools. Yeah, the same thing is true of the refined corallium stuff. There's refined corallium pickaxes, axes, shovels, hoes, and swords, and they are made through the normal recipes. I'm not gonna go over them because they're the same vanilla recipes. Yeah, they've got greater durability than any of the other previous tools. And the same is true of the refined corallium armor. Yeah, again, it's better protection than diamond, and it's more durability than diamond. And again, because it's the same recipes as vanilla Minecraft, I'm not going to show you all those crafting recipes. You really ought to know them. But here we're going to get into something new. So, this is the corallium longbow. Now this one is pretty cool. You make it using a normal bow. Because of mods, it's called a short bow, but it's just the normal vanilla bow. 2 refined corallium ingots, a corallium pearl, and 3 string. It creates the corallium longbow. So what does it do? Well, I'll show you. When you hover over it, you'll see that arrows will apply corallium plague on hit. So, you just take out normal arrows, which I need to go into creative to do. And when you fire a corallium longbow, when those arrows hit something, I accidentally destroyed that. I didn't even know I could do that. If it hits a mob, they will get the corallium plague. Yeah, and these can be enchanted. Same with all the other corallium stuff. They can all receive enchantments. If you didn't already figure that out, it's not super complicated or anything. But yeah, they can get enchantments. Huh, look at that. I didn't even know that was possible. Yeah. So, moving on. Now, here's something fun. This is the second machine available to you. The first one in the overworld was the coin engraver, which we didn't really get into because at the time it's kind of useless. And at this point, the coin engraver is still slightly useless. Yeah, it's not really going to be super useful until you get to Omethal. That's the 3rd dimension added by Abyssalcraft. But in the meantime, we get this, the transmutator. So in order to make it, you need a bucket of liquid corallium, 2 blocks of refined corallium. Those were the ones made of 9 corallium ingots, refined corallium ingots, and 5 corallium bricks, and the transmutation gem. You get the transmutation gem through a ritual, which I've gone over in the ritual video. But yeah, you get the transmutator, which looks like this. Ooh. Now, in a previous video, I mentioned this. Solid lava. So how do you get solid lava? Well, you probably put 2 and 2 together, and then you use the transmutator to get it. So this setup is looks a little bit like a furnace. You put fuel here, what you're burning, or in this case transmutating, in here, and this is the output. So let's show it off a little bit. A bucket of lava, and this crystallized zinc. Now, at this point, you should be wondering what this is. So, eventually, you will be able to make a machine called a crystallizer. You can't actually do that in this dimension. You can't make it until you get to the Dreadlands, unfortunately. But you can find some of this stuff in various places as dungeon loot. So this is what it looks like when it's working. This material is basically the same thing as the furnace's burning output. It's an indicator for fuel. Now you notice I put a bucket of lava in there, and you get lava still. This is something that is not normally available even in creative. Let me show you what it looks like. F5. I'm basically just holding a flat plane of lava. This is normally, what would you call this? I can't think of the technical term. It's something that you can only get through commands, basically. You won't find it in a creative inventory or anything, and I just went to that. So anyway, so that block of solid lava, you put the still lava into the transmutator, let it burn, transmutate, whatever, for a moment, and a block of solid lava. Now, aside from looking interesting, when things will walk on top of it, they will burn. I'm in creative, so I do not burn. Yeah, that's not like this is the only use for the transmutator. There are a bunch of different things. So one of the other things you can do with the transmutator is, remember the anti-mobs and the drops they use? The drops they leave? I mentioned that the anti-food, like the anti-chicken, can't be turned into cooked chicken through any normal method. Well, guess what? Using the transmutator, they can. Now, you notice that I just put Corallium Plague flesh on a bone, or whatever it is, as a fuel. And it can work as a fuel. You can use more than just the crystals as fuel. Like this, a Corallium brick. It's just that the crystals are the most effective fuel for the transmutators. So don't worry if you don't have any. You can experiment and find out what works. So, you notice that just transmuted the anti-chicken into cooked chicken. Yay! Another thing you can do, you needed the Corallium bricks, or the Corallium stone. You need to smelt them to turn them into Corallium bricks. Well, with the transmutator, you can sort of unsmelt them, and you will get a piece of Corallium stone back. Why you want to do this? I don't know. Maybe you just didn't need that many bricks. Whatever. And now, while there are a bunch of other recipes for the transmutator, here's just one other that I'm going to highlight. Endstone. What do you think is going to happen when I put endstone into it? What do you think the end result will be? Well, probably not what you're thinking unless you've played Abyssalcraft before, because it's an Abyssalcraft item. It is this. Ithaxium. You saw Ithaxium before when I was talking about Shoggoths turning stuff into ooze. Now, normally Ithaxium cannot be found until you get to Omathal. But if you've gotten to the end, which hopefully you have at this point, oh, well, it's not a huge deal if you haven't or anything, get a whole bunch of endstone and transmute it into Ithaxium. Aside from the fact that Ithaxium looks interesting, it has some of its own crafting recipes, which I'm not really going to get into here. But it does let you skip ahead a little bit if you can get the right materials. What that is, I'm not actually going to tell you, because it is a bunch of some spoilers. So, remember this recipe? You should. It was in the introduction for the Abyssal Wasteland, and it was in just the one for the overworld biomes. Yeah, this is the recipe to get the chunk of Corallium, which turns into 2 refined Corallium ingots. So, it's a bit expensive, but yeah, at this point, Abyssal Stone is so common, and Corallium Pearls, the ore is so common in the Abyssal Wasteland, it's not that bad. And you're gonna need it because of these. So, does this look familiar? It should. Because it is the armor I was wearing for a bunch of the overworld videos. And it's what I'm wearing right now. This is the plated Corallium armor. This armor is really good. But it is expensive to make. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that because it uses these corallium plates, which is made by this method. 6 refined corallium ingots and 3 corallium pearls to make 1 plate. You'll notice that the helmet uses 3 plates, 2 corallium pearls, 3 refined corallium ingots, and the refined corallium helmet, which uses 5 refined corallium ingots. So yeah, not exactly the cheapest thing to make, because the refined corallium ingots are a bit expensive. The corallium pearl is less so, but yeah, that the liquid corallium ore and the pearlescent corallium are kind of rare. But yeah, so the chest plate, it's like this. It also uses 3 of the plates, but none of the pearls, thankfully. The leggings only use 2 of them, and the boots also only use 2 of the plates. And, so what's the advantage of this? Why is it so good? Well, here's why. Now, you notice that the plated corallium chestplate has a protection value of 9 and a durability of 880. Diamond chestplate has protection of 8 and durability of 528. Yeah, it's higher than diamond. And the durability is better. And there are a couple of other effects. Among which is that wearing the helmet, which I'll just go into creative and take off real quick, you notice that I had night vision and it is now going away. And if I put it back on, it goes back to 13. Wearing this helmet gives you permanent night vision while you're wearing it. Now, there are a couple of other interesting effects, which I'm going to demonstrate right now. Well, hello there, Death Ghoul. Oh, why are you taking damage? Oh, what's happening? Why are you running away from the damage you're suddenly inflicting when I get close to you? Oh, could it be I'm wearing something that's doing this? Why, yes. It's the plated corallium chestplate. Oh god, the temporary warp. I'm getting into that in the integration episode. Don't worry about that. Plated corallium chestplate causes mobs around you to take damage. Oh, Abyssal Zombie, you're taking damage. Oh, why is that? Haha. So, this chestplate is really good. Oh, for the love of... Yeah, this chestplate is really good because of these... Well, I'm not going to say that word. Because of these jerks. The Shoggoths. You know how Shoggoths just sort of destroy you? Well, look how much trouble he's having. If I was in survival, he'd be coming after me. And he'd barely be able to get close because he'd be taking damage and getting some slight knockback. Now keep in mind that even with this effect, this armor doesn't exactly make you invincible. Mobs can get up close to you if they're determined enough, and they can attack you. But still, this armor makes it so much easier to deal with Shoggoth layers. Now, there is another useful aspect of the plated corallium armor. In this case, the boots. Now, this is liquid corallium. Now, you notice that the perspective of the screen changed just slightly there. And that is because when you are in water, or liquid corallium, or any type of liquid technically, you get these effects. Speed 3 and Water Breathing 2. Unnatural Hunger 4 is from Abyssalcraft. It's annoying. The Corallium Plague is because I'm in Corallium. Now. And they're gone. Yeah, you'll notice that it says they're only lasting for 1 second. Yeah. They only work while you're in a liquid. So, while it's not always useful, it is useful. Now, you notice how I said getting this stuff was kind of expensive? Well, I did a bit of math with this. And if I did my math right, I'm about to tell you just how many materials you'll actually need to make a full set of this armor from scratch. And what I mean from scratch is not using the liquid corallium ore or the pearlescent corallium ore. I mean getting these chunks and stuff and making the corallium infused stone for get the pearls and yeah. So if I did my math right, you will need 49 abyssal stone, 168 smooth stone from vanilla. Ignore the fog thing, that's again Thaumcraft. And 3,942 corallium gems to make this armor. Yeah. It's expensive. So you remember the upgrade kits? Yeah, now that you're in the Abyssal Wasteland, you'll have an easier time making this. The corallium upgrade kit. You upgrade it from Abyssal Knight upgrade kit, which used Abyssal Knight. You turn diamond into Abyssal Knight, and now you can turn Abyssal Knight into corallium. So why bother doing this? Well, that the corallium plated armor is expensive, because you need the regular refined corallium armor to make it. So if you can just upgrade some of your previous stuff, hey, great. There you go. Less materials you gotta use. And now this. This is I call it a tool. You can make at any time actually, but you can't actually find out how to make it if you're not using NEI without the Abyssal Wasteland Necronomicon. And this is the Power Stone Tracker. So you should know that using an Eye of Ender in the overworld will take you to a stronghold in which you will find a portal to the end. Well, there is something similar to that here in the Abyssal Wasteland. You will find an Abyssal Stronghold. It'll be made out of Abyssal Stone Brick, and instead of finding a portal to the end, you will instead find an item called the Power Stone. What the Power Stone is something I'm going to go over in the episode about rituals. But in order to make them, you need an Eye of Ender, and you need 8 corallium gems, and this recipe makes 4 of these. They work in the same way as Eyes of Enders, so hey. And here we have the final, sort of, weapon added by stuff from the Abyssal Wasteland. This is the Cudgel. Now, the Cudgel cannot be crafted. No, it can only be gotten as a drop from one of the mobs, which you'll see in the next video, I think. Am I doing the mob video next? I don't remember. But yeah, so you'll notice that it looks a little bit different than other weapons. And that's because it is. Let's go to F5. Ooh, look at this. So this cudgel is basically a spiked club, which is neat. But now what's really neat about it is that it has 20 attack. This is so good. Compared to this, which is 12, and Diamond Swords, which is only 7. It's got almost 3 times the attack value of a Diamond Sword. Oh, these things are great. Unfortunately, they are a very rare drop. Yeah, you're gonna have to kill quite a few of the skeleton Goliaths to get one of these. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's it for this episode about tools and armor and weapons and stuff. I will note that there is another set of armor you can make now that you're in the Abyssal Wasteland. But that, instead of regular crafting recipes, they require rituals. So that'll actually be covered in the ritual episode, which will be coming next. Yes. Bye. Bloopers. Okay. 3. Never mind. I'm in creative. Why are you attacking me? Piece of crap.